As you can see, I am currently rank 20 in the ERASER VE Tower stage for double S difficulty. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to at least get into the top 50 potentially, and I'm also going to be explaining how the scoring works for this particular VE Tower. I am so happy that VE Tower is back. This is not my final score. I have only done one singular run at this, so in one run, I got to rank 20. Now, I did do some resets, but I didn't reset for like the highest possible score. So I will show you guys that run here in a minute, but let me show you guys my teams that I used to beat double S difficulty and how I got that score. So my floor 1 team was this right here. I used Fantasy Todoroki for crit, I used Midnight for the stuns, and I used Green Todoroki actually for the plus ultra on turn 1. I think it might potentially be better to use a red character as opposed to a green character right here, just because of the enemy typings on floor 1 being green and yellow. Having a green type character like Green Todoroki just doesn't give me a character advantage, so I'm not able to do quite enough damage, which you'll see in this run. So ideally you might want to switch him out for like red SR Endeavor. It might be a little bit better using him, but I do like this Green Todoroki for status ailments. Like, this team is really good on status ailments, pretty decent on crits. The problem is just having enough damage to get it done in time for this particular floor. For floor 2, I used Nagant, which is not a very common character to use. I also used red SR Shigaraki, which is not very common. And I'll be honest, this is probably my worst floor that you'll see in this run. I didn't set it up very well. Honestly, I saw Pyro Sanity, who's like one of the top VE Tower scorers. Their name is Rosalina in the rankings. They're probably number 1 right now. I saw that they tried this team on floor 2 and got it to work. And so I was like, all right, well, I'll try that in my run. And honestly, I don't know what I was doing. I didn't get it to work right, so I probably missed a step along the way. A lot of times on some of these characters, you have to have like DX skills or stuff like that for increase in plus ultra gauge by 30% or 35%, and you want the rate up plus ultra gauge more than you want the plus ultra gauge at the start of battle, because rate up plus ultra gauge gives you plus ultra throughout the whole battle, whereas if you get like 20% plus ultra gauge at the start of battle, it only gives it to you once, right? So then you come to turn 4 and you don't have a plus ultra and you're like, oh, what has happened, right? So there's just a lot of like little things that go into these team builds and stuff like that, and it just makes it like so you can't copy everyone's team in VE Tower. It's never actually been like super easy to copy people's teams. So if you ever see someone copying another person's team, you can't be like, oh, they're lazy, because like, while yes, they are kind of lazy, it's just like, it's not that easy. You got to figure out, you still got a lot to figure out, when you're trying to copy someone's team. And then here you have the third team. This one also, I did rip off of Pyro Sanity, I'll be honest, and I liked the team idea. It's very, very good. So you have the Green Todoroki here once again to give you plus ultra on turn 1. You have Uraraka for plus ultra gauge up for all allies. In addition to that, you have the memory on her that gives plus ultra gauge up to all allies. And then you have a Bakugo for some pretty good damage and action skill cooldown time reduction. So I'll show you guys this run. I'll show you guys how it all worked. I'll try to explain it as we go through it, and yeah, let's just hop into it. Alright, so this is my 4-1 right here against Shinso and Aizawa. I do like to target Aizawa first because Aizawa you can hit with status ailments at the beginning. However, you cannot hit Shinso with status ailments until you kill Aizawa, so keep that in mind. So I go for the frostbite and the crit rate on Aizawa, then I go for the stun on him, and then I go for the plus ultra with Todoroki. So I got the crit and the stun and the frostbite as well, so that's 2 crits, 2 status ailments for anyone who's counting. I got another crit right there, but missed both status ailments. So at this point, like you can see, crits are not really my issue. The issue is honestly just truly damage and getting this done in 4 turns. And also the other issue is hoping that Shinso does not bind you or confuse you. So like right here, I would say 5 out of 10 times he confuses me right there. You have to be careful of that. Well, you can't really be careful of it. You just have to hope that he doesn't do it. And if he does confuse you or bind you, you have to reset, okay? And when I say reset, you close the game out, you open it back up, and you restart from where you were. It'll restart you at the beginning though, okay? So that's what I mean whenever I say resets. And right here I use all 3 abilities so that I can get my plus ultras going. And also I want to go back and note, I missed this really quickly. You want to make sure you do the correct targeting right here with the plus ultra. I use the plus ultra on Shinso here to make sure try to get enough damage in. Unfortunately, I did not get enough damage in, but it's good to use it on Shinso to try and get as much damage in as you can. Alright, so you'll see that misses. that hits both of them, right? Aizawa's almost dead, and then I try to plus Ultra Shinso. It does about 20,000 damage, which isn't the greatest, but every little bit helps, right? And then I know right here my attack all is between Todoroki and Fantasy Todoroki and Green Todoroki will kill Aizawa. So I want to make sure that my stun is actually going to hit Shinso at the end of the skill chain if I somehow don't kill him. And that was mainly for damage, because if we didn't kill Aizawa there, we wouldn't have stunned him. But since we did get the stun off, which is nice. Now we go ahead and use all of our plus ultras. He still has 161,000 health though, right? So it's a little bit rough if you don't do crits here. And I think I did miss the crit on, was it Green Todoroki right there? Maybe I did. It went so fast I might have missed it. But even with crits, like, I wasn't able to reach the damage here, so outside of like switching out my Green Todoroki, I could try to switch to a slightly better damage memory on him, right? But other than that took this from a 4-turn to a 6-turn clear, and I was like, you know what? The concept is there. They can see the concept, but yeah. So the idea behind this VE tower for every floor is that you are aiming for a 4-turn clear, as you saw right there. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get it done in 4 turns, but you were able to see the concept. You do so the goal is you do a plus ultra on turn 1, then you do a plus ultra on turn 2. Turn 3, you do all 3 of your action skills, and then turn 4, you have all 3 of your plus ultras again. So that gives you a plus ultra total of 5, and then you need status elements along the way of 7. You need skill chains along the way. Ideally, you do this in 4 turns. You need 10 technical hits. Technical hits are things that say, like, when used in a successfully executed skill chain, you can get them from memories or characters' abilities. And then you also are going to want 20 crits, which is, if you scroll up here, you'll see it. Oops, I scrolled back down too quickly in my previous recording. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. Critical hits, and you want all of your survivors, right? So nobody can die. But 33 critical hits. Crits were not an issue. The biggest issue truly was just getting the damage I needed within 4 turns. But there's a proof of concept there for you on floor 1. Maybe you can make it work. Let me know in the comments if you end up switching out Green Todoroki and you get it to work. And now we're going to move on to floor 2. So this is floor 2. We are taking on All Might and Aizawa. And Shigaraki actually has the plus ultra on turn 1. So same basic strategy. The other two will use their action skills. Shigaraki will use his plus ultra. And we're going to go after Aizawa first. We do need to stun All Might here. Otherwise, he will cover Aizawa and you won't be able to kill him. So the piercing shot is really nice for damage. We got the stun on both of them, which is really nice. Shigaraki does some decent damage, but we missed the fear, unfortunately. And then now we can go ahead and plus ultra with Nagant, as you'll see. We should be able to kill Aizawa with Uraraka here if we hit a crit, which we did. And he covers, but he has no one to cover, so it doesn't matter. Pretty decent damage from Nagant, right? And once you kill Aizawa, then you're able to actually do some decent damage to All Might. Now, here's my problem with this team. I could not, for the life of me, figure out what I actually needed to do right here, because ideally right here, right, you're going to do action skill 1, 2, and 3. Well, Uraraka doesn't have an action skill, so the only thing I can figure is I did one of these characters out of order with their plus ultra. But yeah, from here it's just kind of a mess. So ideally, you just follow the strategy of what I said, where you do plus ultra turn 1, 2 action skills, plus ultra turn 2, 2 action skills, and then on turn 3 you have all 3 action skills, and then turn 4 you have all 3 plus ultras. This team, I just need to switch it up to make it work better. I don't know what I did there, but yeah, I was completely lost at this point. I'm like, what did I do? Because I had done a couple mocks and made it work, and I'm like, what am I doing different? So yeah, right here I just go ahead and I plus ultra with these two. And it gets me pretty far in damage. Uraraka does a pretty good amount of damage, as you see right there, because All Might is a green type enemy. We are able to use 2 skills right here, and I think we actually finish it up in this turn, or pretty close. Yeah, and we finished it up in that turn, so it's not a terrible clear, right? But it's not great, because we didn't get all of our plus ultras, and we didn't necessarily get all of our skill chains is the big problem. So you can see 16 crits, 7 technicals. We were missing technicals. We had 4 plus ultras. We're missing a plus ultra. 3 status elements. We're missing 2 status elements because we didn't hit the Fear with Shiggy. But we did do it in 4 turns. So like, I mean, we got the max multiplier. The reason you want to do it in a certain amount of turns, if I forgot to mention, is because it increases your multiplier here. 4 turns is the optimal. The multiplier goes down as you get into the higher turns, right? So you get less points. But yeah, not the best run. Also not the worst run. Okay, so yeah, you just want to make that idea plus ultra turn 1, 2 action skills plus ultra turn 2, 2 action skills, 3 action skills turn 3, and 3 plus ultras turn 4 work out for you, and that's the best way to clear this floor. And here is floor 3 against Aizawa as the boss. So this one works out pretty well. We're going to go ahead and use the plus ultra on Todoroki. We are going to use the plus ultra gauge up move on Bakugo, as well as use Uraraka's plus ultra gauge move up. The reason you want to use Uraraka's skill 1 here first before her skill 2 is because that's a 3-turn cooldown. That way you have all of your cooldowns when it comes to turn 3. If you use her other action skill, you won't have all of your action skills up in time for turn 3. So we got a burn right there, and you need to also try to land the blinds and stuff like that. Basically land as many status elements as you can with your characters. All right, so we get a chance to freeze right here is what I was looking at. So I was like, okay, let's hope we get this freeze because it could be a nice crit. Whenever you freeze the opponent, it is a guaranteed crit for the next attack. So Bakugo gets a nice crit right here. You can see 99,000, very good. And we're doing all right on crits. I think I just barely made crits in this run. So this is one where you actually have to watch crits a little bit more. You have to watch your technicals and stuff like that. And then I make sure to use Uraraka's and a 3rd successfully executed skill chain for this one to increase the plus ultra gauge of all allies. You want to make sure you use Uraraka's fist last. If you don't, you might not have the plus ultra you need for turn 4. And you can see we have him more than half dead now. And now we're just going to go ahead and use these 2 plus ultras. Now, this is the part that also kind of confused me a little bit because I was like, why am I not able to get Bakugo's plus ultra gauge up? The only thing I can figure is you want I don't have the right EX skill on him. And this is what I was talking about before. You're probably going to want to increase the rate at which his gauge fills by 30 or 35%. And then in that case, if you increase the rate at which it fills, then whenever she uses her skill that fills the plus ultra gauge by, I think it's like 20%, it increases that or multiplies that by the 30%. And then he would have a full plus ultra gauge, right? So I think it's just the fact that I don't have the right EX skill on him to give them all their plus ultra on turn 3, right? So that would be how you kind of get that there. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and use the defense down on him, which still works all right. And then I use these 2 plus ultras here, and I'm basically just missing 1 plus ultra at the end of the score, so it's not terrible. All right, so defense down. And then damage was another concern here, not hitting enough damage. So I think I also did not hit enough damage here. So I'm one turn short of getting it done in 4 turns, which decreases my multiplier, which decreases my points. But I do get it done in 5 turns with the status elements that I need. So you'll see right here, 5-turn clear, pretty close to perfect, except for the fact that we are missing a plus ultra right there. So as we scroll down here, you can see 20 crits, 12 technicals, 4 plus ultras, 6 status elements, and a 9 skill chain. So I was actually missing a skill chain too. 5,000 points overall. Not terrible. Could be improved. Once again, I think you just need the right EX skill on Bakugo, and that'll help you out. You need the plus ultra gauge on him, but specifically you need the plus ultra gauge rate up on him, not just plus ultra at the start of battle, and that'll make it possible for you guys to potentially use this team. There are plenty of other teams you could use. These are not the only teams for VE Tower. These are just the things that I used, and I kind of put together a bunch of different teams from a bunch of different people. 2 of them, once again, kind of from Pyro Sanity. If you need help building teams, always look at the rankings, see what the top players are doing, try to put together your own version of the team. You don't want to copy them exactly because you don't necessarily know what they're doing. Like I said, because everybody's got different EX skills and it makes a big difference in scoring. As you can see, I got 14,041 points there in my very first run. And at the time of the run, I recorded this the night before. That would have put me in 14th place. 14th place right there. 14,031 points, 14th place. Right now I'm at 20, so overall, not terrible. I will try to get higher, but hopefully this helps you guys out. And if you guys did enjoy the video, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.